in the 207 kitchen at O Main Studios with Kristen Lawson. She is with the 1690 House Bakeshop and Cafe in Wells.
Yep.
Her specialty is baking, and we're so excited to have you here. We're going to do something today that's a little tricky, but you make it so easy.
Thank
so
you.
I appreciate that. She said, I can't handle egg whites, but we're going to do it anyway. These are macarons.
Macaron. Yep.
Which is different than the American macaron.
Macaroon, yes, absolutely.
Okay. So these involve egg whites, which are a little intimidating, and we're going to start right off. How many egg whites do we have in there?
So this is 3 egg whites.
Okay. And I know with some meringues, you want to add your sugar slowly.
Yes.
But with this one, you're telling me that
You don't really need to. We are looking for the egg whites to be the leavener to get the cookie to puff a little, but we don't need like a big billowy meringue.
Okay.
So we can dump it all in. We're also using powdered sugar as opposed to granulated sugar. Okay. Granulated sugar is a bit heavier,
Lighter.
will knock down all that air, whereas the powdered sugar is going to kind of dissolve faster, incorporate easier.
Got it.
So you can kind of just dump that in and let it go. So you're still looking for a stiff peak.
Okay.
You want to take the meringue so that it's going to be stable. We're going to fold it into all of our dry ingredients. So you don't want it to be too soft.
So what do we have for dry ingredients?
So dry ingredients is powdered sugar, again.
Right.
Almond flour, which is the whole basis of the cookie pretty much.
And is that something widely available?
It is now. It didn't used to be. You could take like sliced almonds and put them through a food processor, which is what I used to do.
Oh.
But now you can get bags of almond flour, grocery stores, food stores, online, anywhere.
And as always, we will have a recipe for these with amounts and that sort of thing. So if you can't write it down fast enough, we'll have it on our website.
So for macarons, you can do all kinds of flavors. So we're going to do chocolate.
Okay.
Because it's delicious.
Because we like that.
So we have awesome cocoa. But the trick that I do is I use dark brown sugar. Most macaron recipes don't have dark brown sugar, but it adds a extra little flavor, a little bit more moisture. It has that sort of molassesy to it.
Oh, yum.
So that's sort of my trick.
Okay. All right. Your little secret. You're letting us in on some
I know, I
secrets.
am.
How's our meringues doing?
It's going great.
I'm more worried about them than you are because you know what you're doing.
I've done this a few times.
Oh, that helps.
So we're gonna sit this all, yep, so we can shut this off. You can kind of see the sugar around the outside of the bowl.
Okay.
We just wanna scrape that in because you don't wanna lose out on any of that
Should
good
I
stuff.
keep sort of
Could you?
doing
That would be
this?
awesome.
All
Yep.
right. I can sit.
It gets a little messy when it's cocoa because cocoa kind of goes everywhere.
Yeah, well,
That's fun.
We're in the kitchen. That's
Exactly.
supposed to happen.
Totally. So we'll keep that one more little buzz around.
So am I going to get the rest of that through there?
Yeah, you can just push it through or,
Okay.
you know, we can just pretend it all went through
Okay. Yeah, that's about as good as it's going to get, I think.
for now.
For-
Yep,
for
for
our
sure.
purposes.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to move that over here.
All right, so this is done. And then everything with macaron, you want to have all of your stuff ready to go because you don't want the meringue to sit too long,
Okay.
especially when you mix it together, it'll start to deflate.
You have a great special trick.
So I like to keep them all the same size, right? It's a sandwich cookie, so both
Right,
sides
have
have to
to.
try to be
Have to
equal, otherwise
match.
they look a little weird. So a trick is I'll just take a spice bottle, as long as it's a nice circle, the size you want, trace it, that's your template. And you could do a bunch of them,
Right.
line them up however much room you have. Just
Okay.
make sure that you flip it over.
Right, because you don't want the Sharpie.
Because you don't want the Sharpie in the product, so it doesn't
and that
taste
would
good.
give you a template, but there's also these lovely pads.
Which are amazing.
Okay.
So this is a Silpat mat. It's made out of silicone. It already has the circles, so it's easier to pipe.
Okay.
Make sure you keep the right size.
There you go. And all
I'm just
your
gonna
dry
dump
ingredients
all the
are
dry
going
right
in.
into the meringue.
Wow.
Yep, super simple, and then we fold. So you want to make sure that everything's incorporated. You want any dry spots, and you don't want any like just meringue spots, because it will definitely bake funny.
Okay, and you mentioned doing a variety of flavors. What other flavors besides, if we're doing chocolate today, what other
We are, yep.
ideas would you put in?
I mean, I've done like pumpkin spiced ones, so add in cinnamon, clove, nutmeg into just the meringue part. Another popular thing is that you flavor it by the fillings and not necessarily always the cookie. So you can color the cookie. If you don't add cocoa, you could make it any color, food coloring
Bright
you have.
green, whatever,
And then the
bright pink.
filling would represent the flavor. So like a raspberry would have raspberry puree in the middle, but you would dye the actual batter pink or red.
So this is going to go into a...
This goes into the piping bag
There we go.
that we have set over here. If you put in a little cup, then you don't like drop it anywhere, so it helps.
You have all the tricks.
I do.
I think most of this would end up on my kitchen floor if I wasn't paying attention here. There you go.
We're good.
And we're going to pipe...
You get all of that in there, yep.
Okay, so pipe 1 or 2 for us.
Yep, absolutely.
And then I think I would imagine after a while, it's just a little bit of a rhythm, getting the right
It
size.
is, it is. And the tricky
Okay.
part is you don't want a little tail that sticks up, so I just go straight up and down, kind of give it a little spin, so it cuts it right off.
Oh, and they all have to be so uniform.
I mean, yeah, if you want the sandwich sides to match, you want them to be as uniform as possible. The other trick is when this is done, you do want to tap the bottom of the tray Because you want them to sit, and you want all the air pockets that might be in there to settle, otherwise they'll blow out the top.
My gosh.
And then they set for like
Again, you've done this a few times.
a few times.
So these sit before they go in the oven.
They need to sit out at air temperature, room temperature, for about 30 minutes,
Okay.
depending on your room. But you should be able to touch it and it won't stick to your finger.
Okay.
Then it's dry, it has a skin, then it can go in the oven.
Okay.
And by doing that, it creates this little foot.
Uh-huh.
And that's what makes the
key.
macaron a macaron.
And we have a filling that's going to go in, which we're going to quickly
Yep.
show.
So you'd flip them over.
Yep.
A little trick I learned in France is to take a quick little spritz of water just to the insides. Literal.
Wow.
Yep. Just a little bit.
That keeps them moist.
It keeps a little moisture in there. Yep.
Love that.
And then
Now,
we
this
pipe.
is a little bit of chocolate ganache.
This is
that
chocolate ganache, so it's equal parts chocolate and heavy cream. You heat the heavy cream to like a scald.
And
Dump it
again,
over your chocolate,
that
let it
will
melt
be-
and whisk it together.
Okay, and that will be in our.
Yep.
And you're putting salted
And then a
caramel.
little bit of salted caramel I made. It's a little sticky, gooey, delicious. You put that right in the middle.
Right? Oh, so that'll be a little surprise when you bite
Yep.
into it. Oh,
Yep.
yum.
Yep. And then you
they
just
go
match them
together.
up. And you
we
make a
do
little
have
sandwich
some
cookie.
Beautiful finished ones here that are just perfect. You didn't do those in 5 minutes, I know that.
No, we were a little
But
longer
for the
now.
sake of TV, we had to rush things along.
We
a
brought
little
some
bit.
finished ones,
Beautiful
nice and
job.
piped.
Kristen Lawson, thank you so
Thank you.
much from the 1690 House Bake Shop and Cafe in Wells. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.